Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. For 35 years, New Life has been transforming lives one at a time thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi there, and it is Steve with his headphones falling off. It's amazing how that happened. Anyway, glad to have you with us here today, and I've got the A-team in. We've got Dr. Jacqui Mack-Harris. How are you today? Hope you're doing well.
I'm doing well, Steve. Good morning.
Good morning to you. And we haven't been on a program together in probably 3 years or months.
It's been a while.
Like that.
Yes.
And then Becky Brown, there's the laughter in the background.
Hi, Steve. Yes, I can't help but laugh.
And Becky, thank you so much for the great job you did when I was near death. And I really appreciate you doing such a great job. Everybody was saying, in fact, a little too much of them saying what a great job you were doing.
Well, actually, it was the other way. When you came back, everybody's like, oh, I'm so glad Steve is back. And I'm like, yeah, me too.
No, I know that's not true. Anyway, if anybody else wants to join us here, we're happy to talk with you at 1-800-229-3000. Now, I've got a big challenge for you two, and here it is. We talk about the fact that we are a center, a place where you can call and get a good, great Christian counselor. But people talk about EMDR and CBD and LMN.
Well, we don't talk about CBD, but...
Yeah, well, they were putting that in milkshakes where my son was going. Okay, but anyway, how does all that work together to explain to people that you can actually have a theory about counseling and a perspective, and it still is, it works with our Christian beliefs. It supports our Christian beliefs. How does that work?
Well, I know, Becky, you had a private practice for a while, so you might have experienced this, but often people come in and they're having an expectation that it's going to be like biblical counseling, like we're going to dig into scripture. And I think the difference is we are looking at what's going on in the body. It's more, I think, of a medical model than people expect it to be, because we're looking at trying to help you heal something that is going on. The mind, the brain is a part of the body. It's a very important organ. And so we learn different theories to be able to help us to change behavior or help people have better relationships. And I think that it works in concert with Scripture. I tell people in my church often, theology and psychology are interwoven for me. That's just how God made me. So I'm really blessed to have been called to this field because it fits so well for the way that I understand who God is in my life.
Yeah, and you know, in our training, we're taught all these different kind of therapeutic models, and we each have different personalities that we bring into the clinical room. And so we're going to approach things differently. And I think also the client's needs, obviously, we've got to consider what is the best way to work with them. So like you mentioned EMDR, Steve, which is a trauma treatment. Now, everybody that comes into counseling doesn't need EMDR. So, but we try to tailor it. But, the difference is that we are serving you to help you have a better life. So it's better than just, talking to a friend. There's actually some science behind it and some training. So if you need help, call us.
Well, like EMDR, I had EMDR done, but it wasn't eye movement. It was using a program, music on one side of the brain, then the other. Fantastic. Right. And it really did help me with this traumatic thing that kept being triggered. I'm not triggered in that way anymore. So, all right. Good answer. Thank you. 1-800-229-3000. Come join us. We'll take a break. Come right back.
New Life Ministries saved my completely broken marriage.
This is Steve Arterburn. Do you feel like your marriage is broken? New Life can help. Our Intimacy in Marriage workshop examines the various types of intimacy, spiritual, emotional, and physical, as well as the challenges of experiencing true intimacy.
The next Intimacy and Marriage workshop is July 28th to the 30th in Washington, D.C. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more or go to newlife.com. 1-800-639-5433.
Don't settle for a miserable marriage or even one that's just okay. It's possible to have that great marriage you always want.
3.5 years later, we're still going strong, and I would encourage really anybody who's struggling in their marriage to go to a New Life workshop. They are more effective than anything else we tried.
1-800-NEWLIFE.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back, and just so you know, we've got a whole bunch of counselors on a list that we have vetted, that we have made sure are great. They're Christians. They're real Christians with a real ability to integrate faith, theology, and psychology, counseling, the things that we've discovered. Because, you know, the Bible doesn't teach you how to drive a car. Not everything is in the Bible. And some people say, you know, well, Paul never had a counselor. Well, no, he never had a dentist either, but he probably would have loved them. They didn't have them. Anyway, so.
And maybe an optometrist.
Yeah, maybe so. That's true. All right. Just want to make that little point there. 1-800-229-3000. Let's go to Emily. Leesburg, Virginia is the number that is the station that she listens to. And hi there. How are you, Emily?
Hello. Oh, my goodness. This is such an honor to talk to you guys. Oh, my goodness.
Lower your expectation a little bit, Emily, okay? All right.
Yeah, I just wanted to say about 2.5 years ago, I went through a very difficult neck injury that was not diagnosed for a long time. It was very hard. And so I called into New Life, and I got a New Life counselor, and I started working with her. And that was just so life-changing because I went in to talk about a neck injury, but instead I was talking about all my family problems the whole time.
There you go.
And so it was completely life-changing and the beginning of, like, the freedom journey. And I just want to say that, the Lord had good plans for me. And I want to thank you guys for your faithfulness and demonstrating what to do, and that, like, we all need to heal from all kinds of trauma and brokenness. And also, Steve, I just wanted to say personally, I wanted to thank you. I feel like I'm going to cry, but I just wanted to say thank you. Oh, I am crying.
I might cry.
Yeah, you did. But I wanted to say thank you for being such, like, a strong male model and, like, describing and living out what it means to be, like, a humble man of Christ who has the fruit of the Spirit, because I just haven't had that model, and it's just very healing to listen to you cast a vision for what that should look like. And so I just wanted to thank you so much for your faithful service all these years in this ministry and at your church. And I just wanted to thank you personally for that.
Emily, I am so grateful for that. That's a early birthday present to me. And so in response to that, well, I've got three things. One, I'm now making you caller of the day, and so no one else should try. And I want to send you my wife's Bible, the One Year Bible for Women, and I want you to have Every Believer's Thought Life. It works for men and women, and I don't know, we'll try to throw something else in there also. The second thing is my wife only knew me from radio and thought the same things. And if we put her on, she might say, reality might be a little bit different there. But I'll tell you what was interesting is the first time you have a cough button here and we have sneeze button. First time she ever heard me sneeze, she realized, oh, this is a real person here. And it just kind of went downhill from there. But I am grateful for you. And I am so glad you have a testimony that involves a big part of our ministry, but it's kind of downplayed sometimes, and that is just when a person shows up willing to let somebody speak truth into their life. And I just thank you for sharing that, and I hope it'll be an inspiration for other people who are struggling with things. You don't have to be a sick person to get counseling. Things can be better, and I'm really grateful for you.
Well,
and
me too, Emily. You made our day, and I just think the thing that you said that was so powerful is that you went in for one thing, and then you discovered that there was this whole other thing that was really going on, and I just love that. And I'm really kind of surprised you cut her off, Steve. I thought we were just going to have the whole first segment be Emily singing your praises.
Well, we got enough on recorded there. That we
Okay. Thank you,
anyway,
Emily, for doing the work.
Yeah. Continue to make people's day like that. That's just wonderful. And I hope our paths will cross at some event or something one of these days. And
yes.
So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay. Anybody else wanting to compliment me? The number is okay. So here we go. Let's go to Anna, Vacaville, California. Listens as a podcast is delivered to her. You can have that done by your podcast deliverer. And welcome here, Anna. How can we help you today? What's going on?
I, too, could also sing praises to the ministry, everybody involved there.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. I wanted to say I attended the Restore workshop, online workshop, a week ago.
Yeah.
And
great.
It was very empowering. Yeah, it was so empowering. And last night, I'm sitting out in the backyard, and my husband just walks by, and he plants a kiss on me, which was odd. And this morning, an email from him that said, "I apologize for trying to kiss you too soon. I overstepped my boundaries." And I sent a text back saying that would he be willing to attend the Intimacy in Marriage conference. This would be my third time asking him.
Yeah.
And I said, this is what I highly recommend. And he said, if that's what you need to do, go for it. What's good for you doesn't mean it's good for me. I know what I did. I don't need someone to tell me that trust takes time. I get that. But at some point, you have to quit complaining and move on. It's not that hard.
Mm. Well,
yeah,
that's
Bless
rough.
his heart.
And you have to ask. I mean, I'm just saying this. I have to ask myself, what in the world is he afraid of? And how does he sum all this up that we do in intimacy and marriage? How does he sum up that into, well, they're just going to tell me that trust takes time? Because it's such a positive experience knowing how you relate to other people and why some of the way they relate to you bothers you. I mean, it's just a great, insightful weekend, and I'm sorry that he doesn't, he's not open to that, and maybe he will be one day. What is your question for us then?
So I'm trying to set this boundary. I am personally going to get my own counseling. and I'm going to call New Life and talk to see who you recommend in my area. Also, my pastor. I do have a counseling appointment set up for next week with my pastor. I need to know if he's not willing. He is reading Worthy of Her Trust.
Good. All right.
So he just started it. He's starting on chapter 1 now. Maybe he'll get some insight from there. But I'm trying to set this boundary. I really want Restore Workshop. I just feel it in my soul. That's where we both need to be. But I've already put it out there. Do I just not say anything anymore?
Well, let's see what Becky. Let's start with you, and then Jacqui Mack-Harris. Becky, what do you think? What's her approach?
Anna, he's trying to, he's defending himself because he's afraid, just like Steve said. And so the Intimacy and Marriage Workshop is for both of you. Many times you'll hear us talk about couples where one will go to a counselor, the other one will be kind of resistant. And we always say, you know what? You invite them in to tell the other about what life is like with you. And so that it kind of lowers the defenses. But the marriage workshop is not against him. It's not a throwdown, and so it's really for the two of you. I love that he felt close enough to give you a kiss and then even recognize that maybe it was too soon. So that's indication that he's aware that you guys are disconnected, and that the workshop is really a great place, in a safe place, to really explore how did we get disconnected and how can we reconnect, and to really understand those different things. So I don't know that it's a boundary. I think it's an invitation. I would love for you to go with me, and let's do this, and we'll move forward from there.
Yeah, and to go ahead and sign up and say, look, I've signed us up, and let's go. Let's just do this. The worst that could happen is you don't like the experience. The best that could happen is it really helps us get back together closer sooner. Jacqui Mack-Harris, what are you thinking?
Steve, I agree with what you just said. He's starting to read the book Worthy of Her Trust, and so my hope for him is that as he's doing that reading, his heart changes, and you will have registered for the Intimacy and Marriage Workshop, and when you say, hey, I'm registering us to go, and this is what I need, hopefully by then he's gotten to a place in the book where he recognizes that, yes, this is what we need. And so just continued prayer on that behalf while you're working on your stuff. And I agree, reaching out and getting a counselor for yourself can be super helpful, even to the both of you, because I'm a systems thinker, right? I do attachment work, and I believe that if anything in the system changes, it impacts the entire system. And so as you're doing your work, the hope is that he is impacted by that positively, and then he desires it for himself.
Now, one of the good things about signing up is that this thing that he says to you about, well, if you think that's good for you, you go. Well, you can't go as a single person. So when you sign up, you say to him when the time comes, hey, we got to go. You said if it's good for me, sign up. Well, both of us have to go for it to be good for me. So come and get with me, and let's go and see what this is like. I'll tell you this. I've never heard anybody say they regretted coming. I haven't heard that. And the insight,
they usually say they're so shocked at how much it helped.
Yeah.
Like they didn't expect the good that came from it. And a lot of times when there's been betrayal in a relationship, and that's what it sounds like for you guys, Anna, all the problems get pegged onto the betrayal, that's a big problem. But there are other problems within the relationship that need to be addressed, and it's a great opportunity for you guys.
And, he said, I know what I did. Well, it's not about what he did. It's about what he's going to do or not going to do. It's a totally different focus there. So I hope that this is helpful to you. I'll send you also this book, Every Believer's Thought Life, and I think that is a great book for both of you, because we all have thought lives, and this is a way to have your thought life work for you rather than against you. All right, 1-800-229-3000. That is our phone number. Every Man's Battle is online on July the 8th, and Intimacy in Marriage July 28th, in person, Washington, D.C., and it's going to be a great one. They just keep getting better. You know, we look at the evaluations and we do everything we can to improve whatever we're doing. And we've just brought JJ in, and Laura. JJ's from our Every Man's Battle, Laura from Restore, and you can be comfortable with them. You met them in the previous workshop if you went to those. But I'm excited that we have great people to take over whenever we're no longer going to do something. And you'll love these. In fact, it's just different than it was before. I think it's really, really good. All right, 1-800-229-3000 is the number to call. So call.
It had become very apparent that some of the things I was involved with were taking over my life.
In today's world, men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. Some say that certain behaviors are just no big deal. It's just part of being a guy. But it's simply not true. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
After 7 years, just one weekend, a completely changed man.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle workshop.
He said, I think this is something that every man should go to. Married, dating, it was definitely life-changing.
The Every Man's Battle workshop is being held online as a one-day event Saturday, July 8th. To find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com.
I just can't say enough of what New Life has done for our marriage.
1-800-NEWLIFE.
I have given to New Life regularly because I have so many people that I am referring to New Life who so benefit from the ministry. I just can't imagine what would happen in my area if New Life wasn't available to us.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of all 8 100-day devotionals, including 100 Days of Prayer, 100 Days of Freedom from Depression, and 100 Days of Peace. There are also ongoing benefits like the monthly Club New Life CD or download, access to the Club New Life video library, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, discounts on workshops, and quarterly online meetings with Steve. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back and so glad you're with us. You can join us 1-800-229-3000. By the way, if you can't get us on radio, you can always download the New Life app, or you can go to newlife.com and hear us live there. You can watch us on the New Life Live YouTube channel, and you can subscribe to our podcast. Many, many different ways to hear us. I'll also mention that, we love to get calls. And when you call us, you get free stuff, Well, here's a free thing you can get, whether you call us or not. It's a webinar on June 22nd, Every Man's Battle. It's entitled A Guide to Sexual Integrity. It's at 1 Central. That would be 2 Eastern. That's what time it is. And men and women are welcome. JJ is going to be doing that, and he's the one that does the actual workshop, Every Man's Battle. So let's go now and talk to one of you folks who called. And how about we talk with Deborah, Tupelo, Mississippi. Now, I might have gone to Deborah just because I wanted to say Tupelo. But Deborah, welcome to New Life Live. How are you doing today?
Thank you. I'm okay. And you pronounced it correctly. Good for you.
I practice.
Thank you all for I thank you for your ministries. It's important to a lot of people.
Thank you very much.
The reason I'm calling, I truly believe that my 49-year-old daughter has borderline personality disorder. My therapist suggested it, and when I researched it, she is textbook, and it's just heartbreaking.
Can you give us an example out of that? Can you give us an example out of the textbook that we would all go, oh, that sounds like that? Yeah.
Her volatile anger and just her versions of reality are just ridiculous. And especially the anger, her volatile anger just gets worse and worse and worse.
Okay.
But my question mainly is, how does a therapist, when their version of reality and their emotions are so skewed, how does a therapist diagnose them so that they can get the help that they need?
Yeah. Well, let's start with you, Dr. Jacqui. How about that? How does a therapist get to the truth in the person when they may be presenting a very distorted reality that just isn't there?
Yeah, that's a tough one, because that's often what is coming in, whether they're borderline or it's a marriage issue. People are often presenting their perspective, and their perspective is usually different than someone else's perspective. Sometimes that's because of vantage points. We're both telling the same story from different perspectives. But when you're working with someone who's borderline, there is the experience that other people have with that person, the therapist has as well. And so they'll be the all good, all bad, you're amazing, you're wonderful, you're the best thing ever, until there comes a point in which we have to challenge, and then that explosive anger shows up, and they cancel, and they're never going to speak to you again. And sometimes they come back. And so it is done through the experience and the relationship between the client and the therapist. But that's how all the diagnoses are made. And there are some tough ones. Sometimes we use consultation. We talk with other therapists. We might get a release to talk to their medical provider. It depends on what the relationship is with that client and what the client is willing to actually offer up. How are they showing up in the room?
Becky, your thoughts on how it's determined when the reality is distorted?
Well, so Deborah, one thing, just like what Jacqui was saying, it has to be the person in the room. So you got to take caution when you're looking at a book and you're trying to do the diagnosis. I would say that the work that you have is how do I respond to my daughter, regardless of what her diagnosis would be, so that I can stay connected. There's a lot of things that can show up as borderline personality disorder, and we can get focused on whatever the diagnosis is and not really understand what the dynamics are at play. And I don't know if you've done this already, but it could be, Deborah, where you invite her into your therapy session, if this is the reason why you're going to therapy to begin with. You know, if you want to have a reconciliation with her. You know, years ago, I did a borderline personality disorder group, had a lot of people who had that diagnosis, and they would talk about their experiences, just like what Jacqui's talking about. It's all good, it's all bad, and the stress that comes with living life with that personality disorder. And so if you're wanting to stay connected with her or maybe use boundaries with her, I don't know what the issue is, except for that she's probably creating a lot of drama for your family. And so, but she's obviously not living with you, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So that would be my suggestion.
So you think it would be beneficial to get together with a therapist and
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I don't think it's ever a good practice to spend our time in therapy focused on the person who's not in the room, because we're powerless at that point. And it can be scary. We just had a caller where the husband doesn't want to go in. You know, that's a typical, I mean, that's normal to have that defense because you're afraid that you're going to get in trouble. But Deborah, nothing but good can come from that. You're going to get clarity. Your daughter could get some help. That would be my suggestion. And we could send her Understanding and Loving a Person with Borderline Personality Disorder.
We're going to send her that, and I'll make a comment about the prognosis right after this. 1-800-229-3000.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit its addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 Steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here with Dr. Jacqui Mack-Harris and Becky Brown. Becky does this when I'm not around. She does it when I'm around with me. And she also is a big part of our development team. And in addition to that, she works with us on the women's seminars and experiences that we have. And she's more New Life than I am. She really has a heart for New Life and the people that we help. And Dr. Jacqui Mack-Harris is also a person who deeply, deeply cares about folks. And that's the kind of people we have on the list with our counseling network. And if you call us, I think we can connect you with someone that will help you more than you dreamed you could be helped. And they'll help you without shame, without making it shameful to be there, which is ridiculous. That's not what we're all about. All right, let's go back to, well, let's just see. Let's go to Dee from Lansing, Michigan. And Dee listens on WSNL. Hi there. How you doing, Dee?
Hi. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
I'm in a dilemma, and I've been listening to you for several years, and I hear a lot of the help you give women in the same situation I'm in. So I know it's nothing new, and I know it's out there.
Okay.
But I just found out a few months ago that my husband has been in pornography for the last 5 years of our marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And it came as a shock because I walked in on him one day, saw him doing something while watching it, and just cried and was shook up and hurt, and he promised me that was the first time. He'd never done it before. He would never do it again. And I believed him, and we asked forgiveness and prayed and just worked our lives back together again.
Yeah.
Well, I had just found out that was a lie. He had never stopped. He had continued, and it's only because I caught it again on a computer.
Mm-hmm.
His computer. I only use his computer if I need to copy a recipe because it's hooked to the printer really innocently, and found it. And at first he denied it, which, was hard because I knew it was him. It wasn't me. And he was in denial for a good week, and then he finally came clean. And doesn't want to talk about it. I've asked forgiveness. The Lord's forgiven me. I'm good. I'm set on the right path now. That's behind me. That's in my past. I'm a new man. He won't talk about it. He gets angry if I bring up anything. It's been 3 months now, and I know I still have anger in me over it. I've forgiven him because I know I want to be forgiven, and I do still love him, but I'm still so angry and upset because he said if I talk about it or ask him anything about it, it might make him want to go back to it. That's the excuse he gives.
Okay.
I know that's not true, but he doesn't understand. I need answers.
Sure you do.
Questions.
You know,
and he refuses to go to any counseling thing that you guys offered. We had one at a church that was an hour away, and I wanted to go to that. He refuses. He refuses to go to any marriage and anything. Anything.
So maybe you're angry because you forgave him and pronounced him forgiven too soon.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I don't know. I felt bad.
Well, here's the thing. Sometimes rather than forgive, which almost feels like, okay, great, I'm off the hook here when it's too early, that causes us so much anger because we're helpless. We've given up a right, and your right is to have some righteous anger here at what he's still doing. This isn't even about whether he does that or not. It's about what's he doing to grow in character, become a real man that can be honest with you. And he's doing nothing about that. Okay, so let's start with Becky. Becky, what do you think is the path here that has the greatest chance of leading to them being restored in their marriage?
Well, Dee, I wish I could say I've never heard this before. No man has ever done that before, but it's unfortunately pretty common. And the crazy feeling that you have right now is that you know the truth, he knows the truth, but he doesn't tell you the truth. So there's this big chasm between the two of you. So the way forward is you're going to have to start, drawing a line. Like, for example, he says he's not going to go to counseling or not going to do any workshops or whatever. Well, what's the consequence for him? What's going to happen if he doesn't do that? What are you going to do? And it's not a retaliation kind of mindset. It's literally, let's say that this were a gambling problem, not a porn problem. And he just took all the family's money and spent it on a big gambling debt. And his decision was, I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm not doing it anymore. Well, you still have to deal with the fact that there's a debt and that this has impacted your life together. And so not accepting his response is going to be difficult, but that's going to be the way forward. And if you haven't already done, go ahead.
I did give him the ultimatum. He's got to see counseling. This is not something he can stop because he admitted he tried stopping on his own and he'd go for weeks at a time. But 5 years worth. And he did talk to a counselor, but it was after he said he had been forgiven and he'd been released from it. And so the 4 sessions he had with a counselor, he kind of they just not talked about anything but pray for your wife and don't do this anymore. And because he said, I really didn't need a counselor. I had already been one-on-one with God and I'm healed. And I get nowhere.
Okay, well,
right.
But here's the thing. You might want to mention to him that there are 2 of you in the relationship. And it's not just about him thinking he's healed or whatever he thinks God has done. In fact, if he was truly healed and it was dealt with, he would be so sensitive to your feelings and he would care about how you're doing in light of what he did. That would be an indicator that he really got some help and something amazing happened. But he's a very unkind and uncaring person who is not interested in winning back your heart. Jacqui Mack, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking, it's surprising to me that it's something that began 5 years ago. It's typically something that's been off and on throughout a person's life. So
Yeah.
I just find that interesting that it's only been 5 years. And his one-on-ones and pray for the wife, it feels very surfacey, and that's part of the problem, is that he's living on the surface and he's got a lot of stuff underneath there that he needs to deal with, and he was using porn to cope. So now he's not. He says he's not. So what is he doing to cope? How is he? But he may not even believe he has anything to cope with. It makes me sad that he can't see you. And how much this has hurt you. And it's a we situation. You guys are in this together now. And now that it's here, I agree with Steve. A healed man is compassionate and can recognize when you are feeling triggered that they need to come and support. And it doesn't feel like complaints, and it doesn't feel like accusation when you are triggered and it comes back up again. You can have a conversation about it. If you've been honest with God and it's okay and he's forgiven you and he's released you, then why can't we talk about it?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Yeah.
Very, very
I agree. I agree with that. Thank you. He says, no, I love you, and no, I'm not doing it anymore, and we can go from here. I don't want to talk about, because he's afraid he'll, revert back to it? Well, then...
Well, he's feeling shame, too, Dee. He's feeling shame. And that's the power of his recovery. When you get into recovery, you recognize shame when it comes. And it's like what you just said, Jacqui, that you're open. You know, when God releases you and when you've worked through recovery, you're a free person. You're not, you're not afraid to get into those just really painful stories or painful experiences, because you know that it's not you. You know that you've worked through it. But
even his statement of, if you keep talking about it or asking me about it, it's going to cause me to do it again. He's making you a scapegoat. So that's just a lie. And he's giving himself that out, right? I was so edgy. I was so annoyed and frustrated because you kept asking me that I couldn't help myself. No, you still have a problem and you need support in order to move through it.
Yeah. I don't know of anybody that would say, wow, you really got this. How insightful that if she starts talking about this, it might cause you to relapse. Nobody's going to think that is a sign of health, maturity, and growth, and I hope you don't either. I don't think that you do. Well, let me do this. Did you say he's read Worthy of Her Trust, or you're asking him to? No?
I'm sorry?
Worthy of Her Trust. Do you have that book? Does he have it?
Oh, no. No.
Okay. So I'm going to send that to you and Every Believer's Thought Life. I think that could help.
We all face days where life throws us a curveball and our routines or plans get disrupted. Things we wanted to do are forced to take a backseat to the unexpected demands of the day. If you normally listen to New Life Live on a radio station, well, you might not be able to that day. And on these hectic days when you're feeling stressed or frazzled, hearing the sound of counsel given on New Life Live is just what you need to navigate the unexpected things of life.
Every time I'm troubled or I have a problem, I'll cut on New Life, and there's always something that is said that is helpful to me.
By listening, I have learned more than I can ever express about how God wants me to live.
Download the New Life app for the easiest way to listen wherever you are and at a time that's convenient for you, or watch the show on our YouTube channel. You can even subscribe to our podcast from your favorite podcast provider. You never have to miss a day of New Life. Wherever you are, we are. Chris Williams on coaching.
Oftentimes I get asked, what is the difference between therapy and coaching? The biggest difference between the two is that a therapist is going to be looking for a diagnosable mental health condition, whereas a coach is going to look at a particular issue. and help a person work through that.
If you need a coach, call New Life today and ask about the New Life Coaching Network. Our coaches have been trained and screened with the same intensive process we use for our network counselors.
If you're looking at an issue in your life that you just kind of want to change, whether it be your weight or leadership or other areas of behavioral patterns, check out coaching. There can be some really, really helpful things for you.
Take control of your life and take action to achieve your goals. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 and talk to us about getting a New Life coach. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back, and Jacqui, you had a final comment there for D.
Yes, D, I think if you could maybe refrain from asking questions. He doesn't have answers to the questions, but start to speak about what you need. You need to go to intimacy in marriage in order for you all to repair this rupture and restore your intimacy. It's not enough for you that he feels like he's good and he's been released and he's been talking to God. He's not in this alone. That was a part of the problem. You want him to join you, and you need this from him. So focus on what you need. And then, Steve, you had some thoughts as well.
Well, I just think that this transformation process that you want to see has no evidence, and so you have to be careful. If you know about pornography, and if he's gone beyond that, then you have to be careful to keep yourself safe. And I think you need to get some other women around you. Restore would be great for you to go to. You just need to require more of him if he's going to get better, and your marriage is going to be safe. And
maybe not react. And maybe not react when he says things like, "Oh yeah, I'm good. I'm over it." You can say, you know, that's what they say will happen. Right. You know, that's exactly what, you know, someone who's in this situation would say, or that's what they would do. And so that it's just matter of fact. Don't keep giving energy and power to the lies.
Yeah, and it's just when he hears that this is a predictable thing, it causes him to kind of question, okay, do other people see me, know me? It's just a better way of responding to him rather than reacting like you're shocked at whatever he does. All right, I'm going to send you How We Love. Also, you know, that's a book for you guys. That's what we use at Intimacy in Marriage. Maybe if you could at least talk about some of the things there, he would move quicker for you, and I hope he will move. 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you need some help. But if you want to join us for the next hour and 10 minutes, we're going to be right here. 1-800-229-3000. 1-800-229-3000. All right, let's go. How about we go to Chester, Bowie, Maryland, WAVA. Hello there, and how are you today?
Hey, Steve, how you doing, man?
Doing okay. Yeah, doing all right.
I'm doing good. You know, I sympathize with the lady was talking about anger, and I just wanted, and I just came across my mind. I just want to let her know that there are different levels of anger. She could study that and look through that and see that. But my question is, where are my wife and I had this conversation this morning. She asked me, where are the real men? And that's really deep and profound. And I said, you're looking at a real man right here. She could touch me. Right. It was so funny. So that was my question. I'll get off the air and just, if you can elaborate on that, and just talk about it for all the guys that are listening, that don't want to or feel ashamed to talk about it. So that was all I wanted to. Thanks for allowing me to share, Steve. You're doing a great job, man.
Thank you. You know, in the old days, a real man was somebody that handled everything inside the corral, the gate, the fence, and in his home. He could do it all, but that isn't a real man. That's a real disconnected man, we know. now. And a real man is humble and willing to share and be a servant to his family. And there are those real men. I think about the people that have been in sustained victory over 10 years. Larry and I were talking about this. They've been in the same group on a phone call every month for 10 years. And it's amazing what they have come to know about each other and shared with each other. That's what real manhood is, being connected with other men in an intimate and vulnerable way. And they are there. In fact, you could hide out at a men's Bible study at the door and you could take names, because the men going to those Bible studies, they have the better chance of being the real man. And we do need those real men. All right, I got time for one more call, and then we can take the other calls on the next program, which starts right after this one. But let's go to this one that, where was that? Let's go to Rhonda, Denton, Texas, KWRD. Don't have a lot of time at all, but I did want to get to your call. How could we help?
Okay, just quick question. My husband got sober 2 years ago. My mother-in-law is my neighbor. She's always been a bit of a problem. She blamed me for his addiction issues. And I just recently put a post on Facebook just about like the 1 Year Bible and how it's transformed our lives. And he became a Christian 2 years ago. We both grew up Catholic. Now we're both saved.
Wow.
And she's Catholic. My family's Catholic. But now she's not speaking to me. And that's really hard, because it's like, it's not about religion. It's about relationship. And I was just speaking my testimony.
Yeah.
And it's been a conflict for 12 plus years, but I don't want to dishonor her biblically, but I'm just tired of it, and I'm ready to just be like, okay, leave and cleave. Like, this is where we just say, boundaries. But I don't want to be disrespectful in God's eyes, so I don't know what to do.
Okay. So, Becky, can you respond to this in 60 seconds?
Yes. My first thought is, Rhonda, if you don't want to be disrespectful, you probably aren't being disrespectful. The fact that you're aware of your relationship and the kind of tricky places that you have to navigate. And so your choice at this point is to be the best version of you and be kind and stay away from those places where there might be conflict that is unnecessary, because a lot of times confusion gets linked in with anger and defensiveness. And that's really not what your intention is. You guys are trying to live your best life, right? And it will be good. But sometimes it's scary for the mom, and just, try not to make it worse. I don't know if that's what you were thinking, Steve, but that's what I'm thinking.
No, that's right. And I'm trying to think of a good resource and to send her that would further this. And while I'm thinking of that, you have a testimony that you were going to share for us. Maybe you could do that in 60
While you're
seconds
thinking
also.
of it? Okay.
Yeah.
While you're thinking of it.
Right.
Well, I know one of them was from a guy that just went to Every Man's Battle and said the workshop was great for men to peel back the layers of their hearts and to see what causes them to seek and destroy their lives and hurt the ones they most care about. If it helps you start the recovery you need and deal and repair our character flaws. We learned about building trust with our wives and family this weekend, and we were given the tools to rebuild our lives with God's help, God's grace. And I would recommend this to any man with these struggles. And, we've got EMB, Every Man's Battle, coming up July 8th, and that could be a great way to begin a new life.
And
it
Steve,
sure could.
I was thinking about how we love for this couple, and she doesn't want to dishonor mother-in-law, and so respect her boundary. She's not speaking to you. She's taken a step back because she can't tolerate where you all are. That doesn't mean you've done anything wrong, but I think how we love could be good for her and her husband.
We'll get that to you. Also, I'm going to send you Take Your Life Back. I think that's another resource that could really be helpful to you. We're closing out this program. I want to ask you, you heard this testimony that Becky read. We can't do these things without your support. We can't be on radio without your support. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Go to newlife.com and help us if you possibly can. And if you want to join us for the next program, 1-800 229-3000. But hold on, I'll get to that call.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.